Hello HumFog students. Today I'm going to show you how to create an infographic using piktochart. This is especially helpful for AP Gov students who have to create an infographic as part of their government project. So first thing is there are many tools out there to create an infographic, but the one I'm using is piktochart. So with piktochart, you're going to go to the website, which is piktochart.com. And it has recently been upgraded, so you want to click on Get the New Magical App, and you will click on Create an Account. And when you do that, it'll be just like this. You don't need to subscribe to the newsletter, so you'll do that. Now I'm going to go ahead and log in here because I already have an account, and where I can show you some things. So once you log in, it's going to show you some free themes and then some ones that you can upgrade to. And for this project, the free ones are fine. It'll have everything you need with a little bit of careful planning. I will also say for AP Gov students that I think it's helpful because you will be taking 10 facts and putting them on the infographic. I would recommend you create actually 2 infographics. So don't try to cram everything in one, making one really big infographic. It's a better idea because you have to print them out to put them on your board to create 2 or maybe even 3. There's no rule that says, well, you can only have one infographic. Create several ones, and then basically for each subheading you would have an infographic for that. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to pick a theme, and you should be consistent with that theme. So in this case, I'm going to load this theme right here. Now as it loads the theme, you're going to notice you're just going to be replacing all this information. And so some of the things that you can do is, first of all, I would recommend you come up with an overall header. This is the header part right here, that makes sense, and that has like a creative sort of heading that's going to go well with your project. So I might come up with some sort of witty name like, gun rights for all, or not for all, or you know what I'm talking about. You can do this a lot better than I can. So one thing you can do is you can actually edit the layout. So if I look at a block like this block right here and I don't want it, I can actually hit delete. This will delete that whole block. Okay. The other thing I can do is edit the layout here. So I can take this block and I can actually, so in this case I have this one selected, you can tell by the blue lines, and I can actually choose to move it up. Okay. So I can move that up. Okay. So move up, and then you exit it, and then it's been moved up. Okay. So that's kind of cool thing that you can do. And you also notice here that I'm looking at size, so I can create it bigger and kind of get a better idea on there. Okay, so I'm going to go back though. 600 is pretty well your standard size. I can even take a block and duplicate it and then move that one down. And if I do this button right here, that's just going to add on a blank one that I can then have time to do something with. So I can even kind of start from scratch. I'm going to go ahead and delete that one so you can kind of see there. Okay. All right. So first thing you want to do is you notice on the bottom there's all these little information. It's kind of organization, kind of like Microsoft Word, tells you different things to do. And so the first one is icons, and then you have images, uploads, text, tools, background, and moods. So I'm just going to show you how that you can do some different things. So first of all, absolutely you can click on something and then modify that. So you notice when I clicked on this lorem ipsum, which is that would be the title of this section, I have some things here. I have a lock. I have a color thing, a color scheme, so I can choose that, change the color. I have a scissors, so I can mark it out. Okay, and just going back to that, if I did something wrong, I can click back. Okay, so you notice that that's important because we all make mistakes. I can, this is another way to delete, which is a trash. There's a rotation there, so that's kind of cool. There's a different way of organizing the print on here. There's your color. There's how opaque it is, opaque. I've never said that word right. There's an embed thing. Here's your font, so I ended up moving that around, but that's your font. Here's your size font and how it's organized. Okay, so anyway, so that's kind of some things there. So in this case, I am going to trash that. And then this is, you can tell this is a kind of a further thing, so I'm going to trash that too. And that means on this, I could make it larger if I wanted to, but then I'd have to kind of move some things around there, so maybe that's too large. So I'm going to make it a little smaller there. There we go. Okay, so you are much more creative than I am, so I know that you are totally up to the task of doing that. So I'm just gonna kind of leave that up to you, and you can kind of go from there. All right. So, well, what did I just do? Like I'm learning all these sorts of things here. Okay, let's see here. Ah, there we go. Okay, so you can kind of get an idea here of some of the things that there is that you can do, and then you can decide to do those things. Okay, so one thing here is going through here. One thing that's used a lot in infographics is icons. So if I click on icons, you'll notice here I have another menu. And so icons are used a lot in infographics. So that is really, and shapes are also used a lot to point to specific information. So that is something I really recommend that you do, is that you do use these, different, that you use these to help you, and I think that's going to be a pretty helpful thing to you. So is to actually use this. So once again here, whoops, click on this. Okay, color thing. I'm going to reset the color. There we go. All right. So anyway, and then you have a lot of other elements too. All right, I just want to show you, keep going through here. So you got icons, you got images. Now this is also important here. You can take all these images and put them in here, and then sometimes you can make them a background, so you can put something over it. So I'm going to go back and delete that, but you kind of get an idea from there. And there's lots of different ones. There's entertainment, and of course there's shapes, and I told you that that's a big one. Shapes, people who make infographic love shapes. They're like crazy about shapes, okay? So that's just something to keep in mind there, that they really do like that. And you see how I'm kind of doing some things here. Sometimes it takes a little while to kind of get used to moving around here. So just be patient with it, and then kind of go from there. Okay. All right. Uploads. Now this is important. You're only allowed a few uploads. Now one thing with an infographic is it's going to have statistics, and then it's also going to have a few charts, and those are charts are like graphs for your audience to see. So you want to mix up what it is that you're showing. So you're mixing up pure statistics, and those would go like right in here. You could easily have 4 statistics in here, and you want to mix it up with graphs. So there's a couple ways to do graphs. One thing is, if it's a big graph I'm going to do, I might use tools. And the thing under tools is it actually creates a graph. And it has a chart wizard here, and it's going to give you a couple of samples that you can kind of work with, and then it'll help you make one. The other thing you can do is kind of what I've done over here. So if you look over here, this is in PowerPoint. And what I did is in PowerPoint, you notice that you can insert a chart. And so what I did was I actually inserted a chart that looks like this. And so the cool thing with this is that you can actually take this, right click on it, and then save it as a picture. So that's what I did. I saved it as a picture. And you'll notice here what I did in over here is under images, under uploads, excuse me, I actually uploaded the chart that I created in PowerPoint. And so usually I use that for smaller graphs. Remember, you can only upload 4 or 5 things, so you have to be really selective about what you upload. And that's total. That's like not per piktochart, that's total. So go, whatever you upload, that's sacred, because once you run out of your 4 or 5, then you're done. So I can move this in here once I've uploaded it, and you can kind of see there that's kind of what I've done. So anyway, like I said, you're going to be a lot better at this than I am. So text. Now this is important because whatever your sources are, you'll notice on here, you're going to put that in. Usually at the bottom you can add on them source, but I actually like them right underneath. You're going to add in some text. So I'm going to add in text maybe right here. And then see where it says new text label? So right there, I'm going to go in there and then put source, whatever the source is, so what is the source of this information? That's important, and it goes right underneath. See that? It goes right underneath whatever your information is. And that's important because there are lots of infographics out there, right? But a lot of times anyone can make an infographic. What are the sources of those different statistics? So those need to be on there. So you'll notice here that I've done that. Okay, so I did that under text. If I wanted to create a big header, I could do that. So what about tools? The tools is where the graph is. What about background? It's going to be, you can change the color. So notice there, I can kind of change the color of that whole block. Okay, and then moods, you have some different ones, depends on the one. And you can kind of see here where kind of still the same information, but it does it together, tries to kind of keep the colors together. Now when you're done with this, so let's say I'm done, I'm done with this, then you are ready to, you want to save it, okay? So you're going to save it as, whatever it is. So in this case, I'm calling it Proc2, and I'm going to hit OK, and it's going to save it for you. And then remember, AP Gov students, you want to create, don't put all your statistics all on one because it's going to be harder to print it off. Make 2 or 3 different infographics with that. Maybe even use that in combination with Word. That's fine, because remember, eventually your infographic is actually going to go on your trifold, so you want it to be super attractive. And you can take different elements and paste them together. You're going to see on the LibGuide kind of some good examples there. So we saved it. Now we have to export it, okay? And so when we export it, we are basically going to be downloading it, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to export it as, and it depends on how you formatted it. If it's like kind of longer, then that's portrait. If it's wider, kind of like a PowerPoint slide, that's landscape. So I'm going to do this, okay? And I'm going to output it, and then it's going to make it ready. So once this is done, I'm going to right click on the image, I'm going to save it as, and then I'm going to put it in, of course, my pictures. So maybe I put it as number 1. In this case, you might do a more specific one. Now I'm going to open my pictures, and I should see example 1, and I do. And there you go from there. Now from this point, you're going to be getting as far as how to actually print it off. Watch my video on how to print it off, and that's going to help you with that. So sorry for the kind of scattered brainness as far as this presentation. I'm usually better than this, but you know, what can I say? But hopefully this will help you. Please contact me with any questions, because as you know, I'm here to help. And don't wait till the last minute to do this. There's a lot of design elements involved, and so it usually takes 2 or 3 hours, and that's even after you have all your facts to do this. All right, so I will talk to you later, and good luck.